Hey there, hey, and thank you for tuning in to this shit. What day is it? Thursday. I can't even think anymore. It's been a long ass week. We had Monday off, so today is Thursday. Thank you for tuning into this Thursday edition of Born to Be a Star. Today is another day and another opportunity for you to recognize your star power, for you to reflect on where you've been and where you're going to next in your stardom journey. And what a week it's been. More so an enjoyable week. Who doesn't like having off a holiday on a Monday? Part of me just wishes that we kind of all had the ability to work like 40 work weeks and we didn't have to like stress out all the time and we had more time to relax and enjoy our families. And at some point, maybe we'll get to that. Maybe that'll be legal. I mean, of course, we need to work and we need to build, dynasties and we need to do things the correct way. So I won't complain. But every day is an opportunity for us to start off our day with reflecting in the mirror and learning to love the reflection that we're seeing. Maybe that red hair dye didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. Maybe it's looking orange. Maybe you shaved your face and you thought you fixed your mustache and it doesn't look the same. Maybe your eyebrows aren't exactly what you wanted. You figured to get them tattooed like your best friend and now they don't look right. Whatever the case may be, right? Messed up eyebrows, you can't see with those new glasses, and your maybe you could fix your mustache tomorrow. Maybe you could just learn to love yourself. That's a possibility. You should be starting your day off by saying to yourself, yes, I can have a great day. Yes, I can try something new. Yes, I can change my mind. Yes, we can decide we want to do something differently. We can decide we want to close one door and open another door. We can decide we want to be better versions of ourselves. Maybe instead of your hair being red, maybe you want it to be blonde. I always go through three stages of colors, right? I want to be like platinum blonde, but then I want to be like burgundy red, and then I want to be like brown. I go through these stages. Like right now, I'm craving blonde, and I'm trying to convince myself not to go completely platinum again. It's doubtful that my hairdresser is going to let me do it. I can ask her, but she's probably likely going to just stare at me and say no. So I'm glad she's an adult enough not to let me do whatever I want, like Kyle. So Rena's not going to let me do that. But I could say to myself, yes, I can dye my hair blonde. I could say to myself, yes, I can change my favorite color. You could change your favorite color too. Maybe you want to learn more about pickleball. Maybe you want to get more familiar with tennis. Maybe you want to start playing golf. Maybe you want to get back into wrestling. Maybe you want to start watching hockey. It's kind of a cool sport to watch. Maybe you want to change your favorite football team. Or maybe you want to get into soccer, the world's football. Maybe you're ready to learn how to knit or sew or create or color or play cards or poker or chess or the piano, the violin, the cello, the saxophone, the drums, the clarinet, and the flute, or the violin. It can be a number of anything. We should be finding a way to say, yes, we can to any of them. Traveling, going places, doing things we've never done before, getting in that new car, convincing yourself to finally start the process for a first time home owner, finally getting your first house instead of renting for the rest of your life. Why do we continue to pay the mortgage for people instead of ourselves? Like, we can get to a point where we can say to ourselves, yes, we can. And we should do those things. Following the idea of yes, we can, because you can do anything you put your mind to, we move to the stage of never giving up. Life is difficult. Bad things happen to good people all the time. Sometimes you can feel very unlucky. You can feel unseen. You can feel forgotten. You can easily feel that way. Especially when there's billions of people on this planet, it's very easy to feel like that, right? There's so many towns and cities and states and districts and colleges and jobs and stores and families and left and right and green and gray and whatever that it's very easy to feel like that. The doctor might misdiagnose you. The doctor sure misdiagnosed me. Maybe that COVID shot didn't affect you the correct way. Maybe you have forever COVID and you keep coughing. Maybe you have ailments from some vaccination that you took. Maybe your child is sick. Your mom is dying. Or you just got told that you have stage 4 cancer and you've got 3 months left. Well, the chemo might work and the 3 months might turn into the rest of your life. Just because it seems like you can't get through this difficulty, just because you lost that job, just because you have to retake that class over again at school with that annoying teacher, even though they left and they stopped the class and now they're remaking you take it again, just because you have to go back to the eye doctor to get more glasses again. And your car is still making a weird noise after you just paid to get it fixed last week, does not mean you give up. You persevere through the difficulty of life. We're all great together. We all experience these difficulties, whether they are big or small. Your child is sick, your mom is dying, your dad fell and now he broke his leg and now you got to go home to help him, right? Any of these things. Or you're dealing with infertility. You're dealing with a doctor telling you that something's wrong with you and there's nothing there. Trust me, I've been there. Whatever the case may be, we need to remember the men and women that sacrifice everything to protect us. When I think of the idea of never giving up, I picture John Cena at an army base somewhere in the world, and I picture him talking to the men and women that are there serving. Him instilling joy and happiness and inclusivity and just an awareness of themselves, right? The men and women that sacrifice everything to protect us. Those that are on the ground, the army, the reserve, the National Guard, the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, those that sacrifice everything, they end up with PTSD. They end up with injuries beyond belief. Like my best friend has an injury, right? Like they come back broken, needing help, and or they're just sad. And they still find a way to fight and persevere in the eye of the storm, in the eye of chaos to protect us. The men and women that work in hospitals as doctors and nurses or whatever the job may be, in the emergency rooms, the EMTs, the firefighters, the 911 call center employees, the police officers, all of those individuals that I just said, they are fighting for the us. So we have to remember that. Then we move into the stage of why not today? Because procrastination and indecisiveness is no one's friend. Taking 5 minutes to decipher your dishwasher doesn't work is crazy. You might be upset. You might not be able to fix it yourself. You could always do what I do when something doesn't work and go on YouTube to see if you can fix it. Or you can contact the super if you live in an apartment, or contact your dad, right? Your dad is probably the best bet, or your brother. See if they know somebody that can fix it. Or you could just be like a Google person and go on Google and go on Angie's List and then find somebody to fix it. Let's say you're walking around the house just doing some hobbies, washing clothes or cleaning or something, and you recognize there's some weird marking on one of the walls in the bedroom or the living room or the kitchen or the baby's room or the bathroom or your office or the basement or whatever room it's in. Instead of staring at it forever, maybe go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or True Value and fix it, right? Paint over it. Watch a video, or just maybe even just look at HGTV and see how they do it and then copy off of it. Can't be that many steps. It's pretty easy to fix that. You go into the basement one day randomly to do a load of clothes and then you realize your washing machine doesn't work. That is not a situation I'd advise trying to do DIY with, but maybe you are really handy with the tools and you can figure that out, I would advise that you would contact Angie's List or a family member that can fix it and that understands how to do that before you do it, because you don't want to turn something that might be easily fixed into something that's like completely destroyed. Whatever it is, fixing the car, contacting the mechanic, rescheduling your doctor's appointment, doing what you need to do for your own livelihood and your own health. If you take the time and you spend the moments doing these things, then they'll get done. That is the way we succeed. By not pushing off today for tomorrow, recognizing we can't buy time, and getting things done with the availability that we do actually have. Why put off today for tomorrow? Why pretend that you can afford something that money can't buy you? Let us do the things that we can do today because tomorrow might not happen. And I'm pretty sure Invasion of the Body Snatchers is likely going to be an outcome here in reality. I just think that it might already be happening. I think that it's some like combination of Total Recall, Matrix, where we don't realize we're being controlled and we don't realize we're attached to something. Let's say Invasion of the Body Snatchers does happen. Don't you want to get everything done before they completely annihilate the human existence here on Earth? Don't we want to try to accomplish everything before humanity is completely eaten like the dinosaurs? Just a thought. Moving on from the mantra, let's get to the next part of the conversation. We're going to take a trip to the Matrix. We're going to lay in the chair next to Neo and Trinity, and we're going to plug our heads into the machine. And we are going to go deep on something that's really important. I'm going to ask you a question today. I'm going to try to stick to one topic. We'll see what happens. It could be two. It's Black History Month. And there's so many incredible historians and current amazing black athletes, musicians, creators, writers, just so many amazing people throughout history. Today, Donald Trump had a meeting at the White House where he had a session um, with golf legend and a bunch of others. And it was just, it felt so good to watch that happen. Leo 2.0 was there, Sage Steele was there. There were so many there. Tiger Woods was there. Tiger went up and he spoke. He had Tim Scott. He had Scott, who's in charge of the HUD. He had so many amazing black leaders in the room, and it was so rewarding to see the black Republicans. I want to send a message here today, and it's not about politics. It's about culture. So here it goes. Come with me on this journey in the Matrix. Maybe the black magic is that black people can achieve any goal they want. They don't need any kind of handout from the government. They don't need any special treatment. They don't need to be reminded of these things that might not matter, because it doesn't matter what color you are. If you want to achieve something and succeed, nothing should be able to stop you. If you have the gift, if you are able to have a gift and you are able to make the world a better place, then again, nothing should stop you. When I look back in history, I'm reminded of a black man that created a light bulb and another black individual that created something to do with trains. I'm reminded of 1776 and the blood that was shed from a black American. And I'm reminded that black Americans were here at the beginning of America. They helped build this country. I'm not talking about them because I'm trying to not talk about other races, but it is Black History Month. The black culture has been ripped apart, it has been stepped on, it has been insulted by politicians wearing kute kente cloths, pretending like they understand black culture, which they don't, right? When I'm thinking of black culture, I'm thinking about the 90s and the 2000s and everything that happened, even before creepy ass P. Diddy, right? We're going back to Tupac and Biggie. We're real rap before Drake, right? We're thinking of the rappers that sang with uh that did that music video called Walk This Way. We're thinking of Living Single and Martin and all those other shows that existed. The culture of Family Matters, right? The Cosbys, Living Single. Those were the 90s. And you know how I know that? Because I've watched those shows. There's black entertainment television, and there's a lot of things on there I don't know if I advise you watching because it's kind of psychotic and crazy. But there's a black culture that needs to wake up. Recently, in November, something happened that hasn't happened in a long time. Black people woke up. They thought about who they were voting for because they thought about their livelihood and their lives of their children. And you should continue to think that way. Why can't black people be successful? Why can't you do something amazing? If you work really hard and you focus, you can conquer anything you put your mind to, and nothing should stop you from doing that. And the color of your skin doesn't matter. If you want to get into that college, just pass the SATs if you're in high school. If you want to work at that financial firm and you want to be a lawyer, then make sure you can get through the bar so you can apply. You know you're qualified. What's stopping you? If you want that house, if you want to be the first person in your family to get a house, then why not try? What is stopping people from succeeding? And it cannot be the color of your skin. You can't use an excuse of the community that you live in and the neighborhood and all this ridiculous crap the government wants to spoon feed you as an excuse. No one is a victim. It's unfortunate that history happened the way it did and there was segregation and a lot of insanity. And I'm sorry that the Democratic Party lied its way to control black people. It is pathetic and it is disgusting and it is horrible. They want to put on cloth and pretend they understand black people. Be aware of everything happening. They used everybody, especially black people, to stay in power. Reverend Al Sharpton doesn't care about black people. No one cared about George Floyd. It's all a bunch of noise. The woman from Atlanta who lost her election, you might remember her, the one with the dent in between her teeth. I don't even want to say her name on here. She got $2 billion for her organization that only had $100 in it because she said some speech about Biden. I want you to take a look back at Black Lives Matter and recognize that Black Lives Matter was not created for black people. Black people might be able, the black culture, the, the black mindset, the neighborhoods. Think about the children that are not learning at grade level. They can't read and they can't do math and they're not ready and they're not prepared for anything. Think about creating an environment where men think they have to do bad things and go to jail and be monsters and dress a certain way and allow drugs to take over their lives. Maybe that's a thing of the past. Maybe LA doesn't have to stay the way it was, or Jamaica, Queens, or the south side of Chicago. Maybe things can be better and you can stop allowing the government to convince you to shoot each other. Maybe we can make better decisions. Black history is something that we should look at and be proud of, not as a nation and as people of all cultures. Recognizing the black men and women who did a lot of things. Rosa Parks, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, sacrificing their lives being sacrificed for a movement. Harriet Tubman, these people making these moves, doing these things during a time where you could literally die. Remember the city that got burnt down. Don't forget that either. Let this Black History Month be a month where we recognize those men and women that I spoke about earlier that are Republicans, that are serving the nation of the United States and serving the world as well. Why don't we as a nation embrace the culture of Black history and try to culcate that in our lives? Why don't we enjoy jazz? Why don't we enjoy Billie Holiday? Why don't we make that something we can remember? Ella Fitzgerald. Why not make that something that matters? Instead of just allowing the idea of being a victim to cloud your judgment. Wake up. They'll say anything to you and give you a handout and food stamps and all these different governmental assistant things because it looks nice. But at the end of the day, you are not actually living to your full potential. And I'm not saying people don't need help. People do need help. But don't feel like you have to be stuck in that mindset. You can do anything you put your mind to. And once you recognize that, Black history is a moment where you get to celebrate historians and you get to move forward in the future because you know that that history is leading you to today. And it should be something that you're excited about, not something where you look at it and think it's a moment to stop everything. Recognize greatness and embrace it. Why don't we do that with Black history? Instead of ignoring it entirely and allowing race baiting to take over your lives and not actually paying attention to what's actually happening economically and in the society at large. Most of the time, the Black culture, the Black communities, and the Black neighborhoods are being used as a scapegoat for bullshit. And most of the time, the Black community is not paying attention enough to recognize it. But I've been seeing enough videos, enough TikToks, enough Instagram reels to realize people are starting to wake up. And you know what? It's good for me to see that. Continue to wake up, brothers and sisters. This Black History Month, let's make it better than last year. Moving on from Black history, let us get to the main part of the conversation today. So, the main part of the conversation is more dark, less light. I do believe that some people are afraid of light. They're afraid that someone might outshine them. They allow themselves not to recognize greatness and to pretend like they're always better than somebody else. I do believe the idea of middle management and the idea of people not seeing things is a derailment overall to our culture in the world. Just because people want to go out of their way to be idiots and obnoxious and irritating and annoying and a pain in the ass because they want to ignore reality and they want to pretend like they're doing something and they're not, doesn't mean you have to give them any time of the day. It is possible to just ignore stupid people. It's going to end up pissing them off more than it'll piss you off. You're just going to have to do that because the only way you're going to be successful is if you do that. Why should we continue to reward failure? If it's dark, don't you need a light to see? Are we pretending like people can walk in the dark without any vision? Are we pretending like not being able to see is a good thing? Like blinding yourself purposely and pretending like you can see without any vision is going to lead you to success? Is that what more dark, less light is? When you recognize that you're the light, your light might be too much for a lot of people. You don't want to really, you want to give things away, but you don't want to completely control everything because people can't handle it, right? I We already know that I am a party host, party starter, the light of the light, all that and everything. But not everybody can stand the light. Now my husband can because we've been together basically forever, and clearly my family can and his family can. I resonate that, right? And he resonates his own light. We all have our own light that we resonate. But some people, they hate the light. They hate the idea of something being better than themselves. And when you find that, you know what the best thing to do is? Leave them in the darkness and continue to be the light. Because you don't dim yourself for someone because they can't stand the visual of who you are. Like when we think of the idea of looking at Jesus Christ, we should be aware of how bright he actually might be. Like reading the Bible, understanding his presence, it's kind of exciting to me, but I still have this awareness that it probably will be too much for my eyes to see at some point when it's my turn to go and I do come, spirit to spirit with Jesus Christ because I'm going to heaven. I know when I see his light, it's going to be the best thing that I've ever seen. Imagine that light, but imagine that as yourself. Maybe the rest of the world can't stand that, but maybe you don't need to worry about it. Continue to be the light and let the darkness stay in the dark. Just a thought. Moving on from the light, let's get to the next part of the conversation. The city or the suburbs? Now, I kind of like the idea of the suburbs because you're not directly in the city when everybody's living on top of each other. Like a city is building, so everything is going diagonally, like up, like buildings, right? In a suburb, everything is spread out, so everything is like spread out, like it's houses. My favorite town is putting more apartments in it, and I'm not sure I love that. I did want to buy a house there at some point once the numbers go good, but I don't like the. I feel like renters aren't good for homeowners. Does that make sense? I, it's not. It's not good, but who knows? I think short term renting, right? Short term, you might want to live in a city, especially if you work near the city, or maybe you work remote. Maybe that's a great job. Long term, if you have kids and they're in school, you want to be near in a suburb, in a community where your kids can grow up, right? You want them to have that environment. You don't want to live in a city with a lot of kids, man, especially when they get to a certain age. Might not be good for them. You gotta like think long term for that. But honestly, I like the suburbs and everything, but it depends on where I'm living. Like, if I am I living in New England because I'm more familiar with that. So, like, I don't know anything about California. Like, depending on where you live, it's probably good and bad. Facing your success is recognizing that you did something correctly and being okay with that. Instead of always looking at things you could have done better, maybe just be happy with what you already succeeded with. I have a tendency to attempt to perfect things that might not need perfection. And I really feel like that could be a bad thing. But I'm trying to do a better job of just recognizing that I'm just a human being and I'm a person instead of like some magical robot being that can perfect every moment in life. But because I can't do that. Sometimes success is just success and good is just good. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being something more. Because if you can be a better version of yourself and you can do things at a better rate and have more success doing them, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why would you only want to limit yourself to what everybody else is telling you what to do when you know you can do more? It's Black History Month right now. We should be looking back in history and recognizing all those that did everything they could for those coming after them. And even those leaders we have today that are black that are setting a tune, right? All the men that are in football and soccer and hockey and baseball and boxing and all the voices, the music, the hip hop. When we think about that, that is something more. Maybe we should use that as an example for ourselves, right? I mean, Black History Month is in February, but maybe each month we should use the history of where we are as energy to push us to be something even better tomorrow. Just a thought. My pillow. Oh my god, mypillow.com. So I think I'm going to end up getting the queen size pillows. They look really soft. I don't know how many I'm going to get. I think I'm going to start off with two. The Mike Lindell has this cross I really want, and I don't know if I want to get the black one or the silver one. Probably going to end up getting the black one. We'll see what happens. And there's these sheets that I want on there. I know when I get the My Pillow, I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna be my favorite pillow. So I'm gonna start off with one, but then I'm gonna go back on and then order two more after. So my main pillows can be my pillows. I've heard nothing but good things. I've seen great reviews, and I know it's great quality. And more so than anything else, it's American made. I prefer buying everything I get from America. I've been doing that forever, and I'm going to continue to do it. And I like supporting American companies. So I'm happy to be a continued shopper and viewer of My Pillow, and I will be going on there and filling up a cart and buying a lot of things. I don't know what color sheets we're getting. Me and Skip got to figure that out. I kind of want it red, but we're getting into like we're still in winter, but maybe like a green or a blue, something. I don't know. Recreating your home gym. So COVID's over. How do you recreate your home gym now? You still got that Peloton that you spent like $2,000 on, and you still got your Peloton membership. So you want to still create an environment in your gym for the Peloton. Then you want to obviously have your yoga mats. You want to have your bands. You might want to update the gym by getting, like maybe a row machine or a mirror, some sort of interactive like workout things. My trainer's coming to an end soon, so I think I am going to be looking toward the mirror or something at some point. I still have access to. I was considering getting Tone It Up back. You want to have multiple things in your home gym. Like I like the gym, but depending on what the weather is and depending on how busy I am, I might or might not have time to get there. That's another reason why I don't want the trainer anymore, because life is hectic and life is busy, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't get there. So, updating your home gym, first of all, is going to get you more excited about working out, and second of all, it's going to be a place that you can't wait to work out in. And why not? You don't need like everything that gym has. You want to just utilize the availability of the area you have and put everything in a great spot so you have room to do yoga, room to do the Peloton or the elliptical or whatever the machine is that you have. You want to be able to do stretches, and you want to be able to do a cool down and a warm up, right? And you want to have room to do that in. So I say, obviously, get creative with how you want everything to look. Moving on from the main part of the conversation, let's get to the watching part of the conversation. So it's Black History Month, and there's all these different uh, options we have to look at Black History movies. I think I'm going to spend the weekend figuring out which movies I want to watch. I really wanted to watch a lot of Denzel Washington. He's one of my favorite actors anyway. So I'm kind of looking forward to watching a bunch of his movies, just because I think he's a phenomenal actor. And he became a reverend not that long ago, so God bless him on his journey. And he's one of my favorites. I still haven't forgiven Will Smith yet. Him and his wife got a problem going on. But there's a lot of movies, that are pretty good that I wouldn't mind looking at. So I'm going to give a list a try and see if I can find something good. Always good to get some great movies in during Black History Month. And there's a bunch of shows on and a bunch of things that have come out over the years and decades that you definitely have an option to look at. I took a pause watching Love Island, whatever season it is, but I'll get back to that probably tomorrow. Watched AEW yesterday. Bunch of matches are pretty decent. Really nothing on today. The Killer Inside looks okay. The Mummy, like, how many different mummies are there? That's my question. Wasn't there a mummy with Tom Cruise? But then wasn't there another mummy? Do you guys know how many mummies there are? I don't know. I'm considering having a Kill Bill binge where I just watch all the Kill Bills. It's definitely one of my favorite movie series of all time. It's so fun. I think it's on Hulu. I like Googled it and I thought I found it on Hulu or something. If not, I'll find it somewhere else. It's probably on Max. I still got to get access to BritBox, so that will be happening this week. Lila and Eve, The Crash. Was The Crash a movie? Because this seems to be a show, but I figured that this was a movie, and I can't remember if I saw it or not. It sounds familiar. The Boondock Saints, I've definitely seen that like a million times, and every time I watch it, I'm really entertained by it. So I'm really, going in this like I'm gonna pretend like I never seen it before and watch it and see like what I feel about it. But obviously, I've seen that movie so many times, but it's just so good. I think it's from like the 90s or something. It's very good. The characters are good, the actors are good, the storyline is good, very good. I kind of like old movies, so for me, I'm excited about rewatching that. Heat, I can't remember the last time I saw that, but I've definitely seen that a million times, and I can always watch that. Goodfellas is another one I could watch over and over and over again. Just my like. I don't know what that is, but it's on Hulu. Maybe I'll watch it. Moving on from watching, let's move into eating. We have to eat breakfast. And I'm the first one to admit that eating breakfast is kind of difficult, especially when you're busy. But having a protein shake and making sure you're drinking your daily dose or you're drinking your Javi in the morning is very important. I'm boycotting Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts because I don't want to spend my money on that stuff. And I don't know what they put in any of that stuff. So I've got daily dose, which is the mushroom coffee that I like, and I have Javi. And I was also considering getting these K cups from this coffee place that Dan Bongino recommends, and I started getting their email. So at some point, I'm gonna make time and just order a bunch of K cups with them because I still have a Keurig, so we'll see what happens with that. And I have an espresso, so maybe they're having the espresso things too. Mm. You gotta eat breakfast. Because when you start your day correctly, you start drinking water first thing in the morning, and you have like a hard boiled egg, or you make eggs and bacon, or you have a bowl of cereal. It really should be the cereal that doesn't have any calories in it. Magic Spoon's probably the best option, I'd say. Whatever the case may be, even if it's yogurt, make sure you have breakfast. Replacing soda with Poppy. So I started drinking Poppy like I think last week, and I really like Poppy. I'm really trying to stop drinking soda or limit the amount of soda that I'm having because of how horrible it is. I told you guys that I went to Medi weight loss, and when I spoke to the nutritionist there, she was like, "Dude, don't drink. You know, make sure you don't drink soda because it's really horrible for you." And when she was saying that to me when we were going over all the goods and the bad, it made me feel like, dude, I really got to stop drinking it as much as I do. So I've been trying to limit that. And I think Poppy or Olipop are definitely a great alternative to soda. It is a drink that is basically sort of like a seltzer juice that's better for your body, like a probiotic, and it tastes really good. I kind of like it. I'm obsessed with Stanley cups, and they have this green one that I want for St. Patty's Day that I'm about to buy. Can't wait! It's fire. I'm gonna add it to my collection. I'm obsessed with Stanley cups. I just like having access to a cup that's gonna keep my beverages cold at all times, and I like using reusable cups. I hate plastic things. I like drinking my 120 ounces of water every day, and the best way I could do that is by having my cup and just refilling up the water bottle when it goes low. There's definitely Hydro Flask, and there's a bunch of others, and it's Slim, and I have some Slim bottles, and I have a Hydro Flask, and I have the other one too. But I gotta tell you, my favorite one is Stanley. It's just, I just like the flexibility of it, and I like the compatibility of it too, and I just love the look of the Stanleys. I'm more so impressed with what it looks like and the functionality. So overall, I say Stanley's my favorite, and I can't wait to get that new green pristine one. There's this one I really want that's like light blue with all these different colors in it, and reminds me of California, but it's always sold out, and I can't ever find it. So I'm still on a waiting list for that. I don't know if I'll ever get that Stanley Cup, but I'm still waiting. Have you guys heard of Orku water? So it's this water bottle where it has like a fruit infuser inside of it, and I'm really gonna go on Amazon and see if I can find it and fill you guys in on that more. I do want to start drinking even more water. I feel like I have to drink 120 ounces, but maybe I can go longer than that. We'll see what happens. Real Mexican versus Chipotle. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Chipotle is real Mexican? Clearly, it's not. But I mean, it's okay. Like if it's available and I can't get to a real Mexican place, I'll eat it. But I can clearly tell the difference between Chipotle and real Mexican food, like night and day. But if given an option, I'd go for real Mexican food, or maybe even just make it myself. Harissa honey chicken bowl. Doesn't that sound fire? I'd eat it. My friends, thank you for tuning in to this Thursday edition of Born to Be a Star. Don't forget that you are a star wherever you are. Brothers and sisters, you, me, us, they, and everybody are going to finish saving the United States of America. Congratulations on the Black History Month moment that everybody had with President Trump today at the White House. Was really excited to see all the black um, men and women supporting the Republican Party. And just want to do a shout out for Black History Month today. It's the 20th, and there's just a couple of days left to the month, so yay. But we have a lot of work to do in America, and hopefully we get these dividend checks. Give me back my tax money. That's all I'm saying. We also have to help like fix the rest of the world. Like we need to end these wars, and we need to get shit fixed. And honestly, Canada can eat like air. Don't care about you, and you're about to lose your hockey game anyway, so it don't matter. Moving on. We need to remember that we are omnipresent, just like Jesus Christ, the beginning, the middle, and the end. There's nothing we can't do and nothing we can't fix. We are the light in the darkness, and the darkness can't defeat us because we are the light. I will see you same place, same time tomorrow. Please don't forget that you listening are a star wherever you are. Hello, goodbye, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Ciao, prego, prego, as they say in Italy. America is rising, and she is unstoppable. What a sight to see the American from the rest of the world. See you guys tomorrow.